Hi and welcome again. It's been a while since I last showed you my stuff. If you remember, I planted cucumbers in the sand and I was not sure how they will turn out, and well, turns out they do absolutely great. They look beautiful, healthy, and they yield a lot of cucumbers. Some of them sadly died after the dog's intervention and digging some holes. So I replaced the short cucumbers that were growing there with regular long grain cucumbers. You can see that they make about this size of cucumber. This one is kinda medium size for those plants. They do make bigger ones, however, bigger ones have bigger seeds and they are not as tasty when you want to turn them into pickles. So this, about the finger size, is the perfect size for those. It's only one for now in the basket, but you know, one here, one there, and we'll get a lot. They do like to hide in between the leaves, so let me show you one that is hiding. So here it is. Here is the big guy. Can you see it? This one is bigger. So this is about the harvest I got just one day. It is not a lot. We have about 20 plants of cucumbers, but keep in mind that every day you get this much, and over the span of a month, 2 months, 3 months that the plants will be producing, every day this much, you will get enough for the whole winter. Well, depending on how much you like pickles. So not a lot, but we will store it. If you put cucumbers or other veggies that easily get soft, if you put them in the plastic bag in the fridge and also put a little bit of paper or newspaper with the cucumbers in the bag, it will act as a moisture control and they will not spoil so fast. So you can easily store them up to a week and they will remain fresh and crunchy. So this is the total yield of cucumbers. I managed to find a few more hiding under the leaves and stuff. So not a lot, but decent. Real decent for one day. Now we will go into tomatoes because I saw from afar some of them are getting ready. So let's harvest those. This is the current state of the garden. Behind me you can see cucumbers. Those are the long cucumbers. They stopped producing so much now that the temperatures went up. Behind we have the tomato jungle, and you can see that above me I put some fabric, plastic fabric of some sorts that is used as shading. We do have very strong sun in here, and this influences tomatoes, the fruits actually. Because it's so hot, the fruit is developing harder skin. So since we want to avoid that, since we want the best possible quality of tomatoes, we had to mount the shading. It is extremely cheap thing that you can find in the gardening stores here in Greece or in the farming stores, let's say. Next to me you can see the row of cherry tomatoes. The ones on the edge, those ones are getting hit more by the sun, so the leaves are curling inside and also the fruit will have harder skin. Those first 3-4 plants that are more on the edge are not going to be as tasty as the plants that are more inside. It does not matter though that we will not eat them. Of course we will eat all of them. They are still delicious, just a bit harder. Let's gather them. Since I don't want to later be the not Sleeping Beauty, the Cinderella, separating cherry tomatoes from normal tomatoes, I will gather them into some random dirty little bucket. And then, you know, they gotta be washed anyway, right? So let's see how much of this bucket I will manage to fill. That's from just one plant. We have a lot more. Let's go. I gathered all of the tomatinha. You could see probably that I was throwing some of them. So why was I throwing perfectly nice red little tomatoes? This is because when they do not have enough water, they cannot absorb magnesium from the soil, and this results in black spots on the bottom of your tomatoes. Now about the tomatinha, so the cherry tomatoes yield, they are called tomatinha here. You can see that this bucket is full until here. That's quite a decent tomatini day. They are a bit dirty, you know, dust and natural stuff. So they do need a bit of washing and they will be good to go. Some of them are less red than the others, so this one is more yellow. It is still good, you just need to leave it on the kitchen table or a counter for a few days and they will be perfectly fine. Okay, let's gather the big ones now. We are now in the big tomato zone and I wanted to tell you a bit about the varieties. The last time you saw them they were probably size of a cup. Quite small. Now they are all big plants and I gathered enough data to share with you. So first we have the variety called Marmande, and as I learned via Google and my mother, this is a French variety. The French variety does not do well here in Greece. It produces a lot of fruit and a lot of leaves. Some of the plants produce only leaves and only the suckers, which is the part growing from between stem and the leaf. A lot of those, it was absolutely uncontrollable, and yeah, the fruit grow in clusters. Let me show you. Over here you can see the cluster of tomatoes, and here it is. The main reason why I don't think I will grow them again next year is they seem to be not for such hot climates. The leaves are turning brown even though I kept watering them, even though they were kept under the shading. So either I will try growing them in the winter or skip growing them completely, as they do not do well over here. Over here is, I think, my favorite out of all of the tomatoes that I planted. I think this is my favorite. This is called Ace 55 VF, and this is a variety that is supposed to be resilient to fungal diseases, and I must say they are doing excellent. This one, like, look at this, look how beautiful. Nothing on the bottom. It's a very nice big tomato, and I hope the skin will not be too tough, because It's such a beauty. It's not fully red yet. This is not the max red color it can get. But if I leave it outside for a few days, it's gonna turn into a proper tomato. So let's see how much we will get from those 2 rows of Ace variety. Okay, actually only 3. Um, there are more that are getting some color, but I want to keep them until they get a little bit more red, and then I will harvest them. But those tomatoes are really, really decent size. This is something you would expect in supermarket or in the farmer's market. Let's check what else. So huge. The plants are ridiculously big, and so are the fruits. I had no idea, now I do. So let's see, I think we can harvest this one. It is kind of hard. So the fruit looks like this, not very beautiful, but very fancy. There's one more. So there is one more. It's still green on this side, it starts getting red on this side, so the big ones I prefer to get down right away when they start getting a little bit of color. And it seems I have some bugs because I did not plant basil here this year. Let me show you. Bugs, eggs inside, so yeah, there goes my tomato. I'm sad. Well, happens. So yeah, lesson learned, even if you don't feel like planting basil, do it. Just do it. It's yellow tomatoes, very pretty and beautiful. So I am harvesting them a bit earlier because I don't want them to get those black spots, and so the plant can, I don't know, concentrate and focus on growing the new ones. This variety produces smaller fruit like this. They are more round, and once again those are not in their full dark color yet. They need a bit more time. So I harvested them, gathered them ahead of time, and will keep them out on the table so they ripen. This is the state of the basket. It has some cucumbers under it, the cherry tomatoes in the smaller bucket, and it is getting quite a bit heavy, and we still have 3 rows to go, and then a very long row of Polish variety, and then we have some more Italian ones together. So yeah, it's gonna be very heavy when I'm done. Let me gather the rest and we'll go to the next row. Okay, let's go next. Over here we have the very long row. The very long row is the Polish variety of tomato called the raspberry tomato. Apparently it's very expensive in Poland, and it is doing very well. All of those are doing extremely well. I would risk planting them a bit earlier as well, since they are a Polish variety, so by default the temperatures there and the climate is a bit more harsh. So yeah, let me show you the first example that I have over here. It's not 100% ripe, but you can see the beautiful color. It is the second of the pink varieties that I have. Let me show you comparison of the 2 pink varieties. So this is the Polish one, more pink, and this is the other pink variety. So I say it's a row, but in reality it's just the corner that we have. There is not a lot of tomatoes ready over here. I gathered some of them, but there are few that are absolutely stunning. Majority of plants I have in here is the variety called Terra d'Abruzzo. However, I mixed the seedlings. So we have some Crimean Night, we have something, I don't know. So yeah, I wanted to show you one of the tomatoes over here is ready, and one over here. The first ready ones that I have are actually quite small. They are huge tomatoes on those plants, but the huge ones are a bit later. So those ones are the first fruit that were like on the bottom of the plant, right? So the first ones the plant made when it was still in the rapid growth stage, so the fruits will be smaller. They will be smaller, and this is how the variety looks like. It has those lovely segments that you can see on both of them. This one is not as developed as this one. This is how it looks from the bottom. Cute little butt. Yeah. So this is it. This is the garden. I guess I will see you in a while because there is not much changing in here now. The season is in full bloom. It's the beach season as well, so we're kind of occupied being in the beach and drinking cold coffee. Tomatoes are growing, watering, gathering, preserving. And that's how it goes, so see you later at some point.